What's up, everybody? We're about to get this going. Hope you're all feeling good. These markers are still holding at that 62K level. Are we going to see a big pullback in March? Are things going to keep ripping? We're going to talk about it. We're going to break down some charts. I want to see everybody getting active in the chat. Let's get this together. Ooh, we got to switch that camera. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. While I switch the camera, hope you're all doing well. Look at this, looking straight up at me. Let's go ahead and dive in here to look at what's going on in the charts. We have a lot of stuff going on in the market right now. The market prices jumping around. Why is the camera backwards? Let's go ahead and flip that. Boom. There we go. There it is. We have the market prices still holding up at this beautiful level above $60,000. We're looking over here at Ethereum pushing up above $3,400 into $3,500. We have a clear level that we want to watch when this may retrace down, if it does. But we also have a lot of beautiful things going on in these markets. If we come over here to Bitcoin pairs, we got a lot of things going on with price action. Ethereum, obviously not pumping well, but Solana making a huge pump against Bitcoin. We got Dogecoin also making a huge rally against Bitcoin. We see Cardano also making a rally back up. A lot of scribbles on the chart right now. The Cardano making a rally back up, but in a precarious situation here with what's going on with this massive trend line that it's essentially coming back up in to retest right at this level. So we got to keep an eye on that. And there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about here going on in the altcoin portfolio as well. We saw, let me go ahead and switch this back to 24-hour. Aerodrome making huge gains over the last day after that massive dip that came in. And we're seeing the market just absolutely lighting people's interest on fire. And that's the most bullish thing that we can look for right now is the interest that's coming back in. We saw that. How do we know there's interest? Because Coinbase went down yesterday. It went down almost immediately after we did our live stream yesterday. Not only did it go down, I let everybody know this is feeling very bullish. We're looking at upside targets, but there is a possibility that things can change in the blink of an eye, and that's exactly what happened. It dropped from $64,000 down to $57,000, and then rebounded right back up to that $62,000 region. We had a huge whipsaw in price action. We had a lot of flush of the global, not the liquidity, but a huge flush of the open interest in the market. So all in all, it was an absolutely wonderful thing that happened in terms of the health of the market. So with that being said, looking at what's going on in the price action on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, come down here to Cardano pushing up in a beautiful, I mean, this is a macro 3-day look, but we're seeing this massive sort of cup and handle here with a large target all the way up here in the $1.86 range. Are we going to get up there? We see Avalanche coming up here. We also see, and I don't have it on this list, but if we come down to Aptos also making some huge runs. This is a 3-day chart, so it may not look like a lot, but let's just go ahead and look at this. That's a 44% run up in this 3-day candle, but now the bears have eaten this back down to that 32% sort of growth. We also see Arweave had another big day as well. So coming over here on Arweave, look at this, it's still ripping. We're on the 3-day chart though. Let's make it look a little bit more exciting. Come over here to the 1-hour chart. We can see this move right here on Arweave. It's just ripping up. This is that D-pin play, the infrastructure, right? Storage. And we're seeing a lot of things in the market start to really have that upward movement in the price action. And the question I have for every one of you right now, if you're tuned in, If you are here, let's do a little bit of a roll call. Let's get this chat flowing. What's the last coin you picked up or DCA'd into? And what's the last time you made a sell or a short? What coin was that? Let me see what you guys are doing. And what's your biggest gainer? What's your biggest gainer over this last week in your portfolio? I'm sure everybody's going to have different coins in that, and that's how we can see. Sometimes we put things on each other's radar, and that's what this is about. So everybody, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. We got some things to talk about today, so let's go ahead and talk about those things. Now, coming over to this chart, right? Am I on the right thing? Okay. Coming back over to this right here, I just want to point out, bull market will be led by institutions in 2024, Crypto Quant says. Why is this? And I made some posts and shorts. I made some posts in like the bull signal 10-minute video I did the other day. And this is right here. We're seeing a consistent downtrend in exchange depositing transactions, meaning new money coming in from those retail people. Can also suggest that retail investors have not entered Bitcoin yet. And we've talked about this. If you come over here onto this, where the hell is it at? If we come over here and we look at the short-term holder supply and we look at this chart, we can see on this chart alone, this is how much coins are short-term held, meaning they were just bought. And the fact that this is so low, it's basically near the lows. It's below the lows of the 2018, 2019 run-up right here. Even though we've had this pump up, we're still below these lows, also below the lows back here in 2015, 2016. We're seeing that the retail is not even here yet. So when we see a post like this from Crypto Quant showing that the exchange deposits are also, or lack of exchange deposits are also suggesting retail's not even here yet. And we see this price action on Bitcoin absolutely rocketing up here. And we had that scary moment. How many of you guys were scared? How many of you use Coinbase? How many of you use Coinbase? Because we saw this astronomical move up here above 64,000, 64.85. What's the high? We can look up here, OHLC, open, high, low, close. So on this candle, the high was 64,100 Bitcoin US dollar on Coinbase. And on that same candle, the range on this candle was 64,100 down to 58,325. Now, if you go over onto a derivatives exchange, perpetual futures, you know, when you see like on Binance or KuCoin or Bybit, you might have more of a spread, but that's because the price action can move further because of those positions getting flushed out, those derivatives positions. But the point here is this is essentially what whipsaw is. What this is right here, seeing this type of move, quick move up, quick move down. This is flushing out the liquidity in the markets. In fact, if we come over here to my page, and it's a little bit further down, I retweeted this yesterday. Boom, right here. This is important. What just happened on Bitcoin was incredibly exciting. Absolutely was. Then, if you guys were scared, if anybody was scared yesterday by that sell-off, throw a one in chat. Let me go ahead and throw a one in chat myself. I was acknowledging my emotions. I was like, oh, is this it? Is this a drop? And then it immediately came back up. But what this did is, then it was very scary for some, right? But in the big picture was a healthy reset of derivatives. Could use a bit more retrace now anyway, but this is all par for the course. And what we're seeing here, if we look at this from Credible Crypto, you definitely give him a follow if you haven't yet. Seeing right here, aggregated open interest. Right here, see this low back here when the price was at basically $45,000, $46,000. And we're seeing this is the low that we were at. And then we had this large sort of increase, and this is this move all the way up basically from around 40,000 all the way up to where the $64,000 mark went. And we were seeing an increase, a somewhat steady increase of the open interest in the market. Basically, the liquidity that becomes available for this whipsaw to happen. When you have everybody betting long or everybody betting short, you create a scenario where you can get very quick movement in either direction. And if you're not aware of that, then one, shouldn't be trading the market. And two, you need to understand that every bit of a position in the order books provides data signals to bigger players, to those hedge funds, to those high frequency trading algorithms. And when they see a large group of liquidation zones piling up above or below, that essentially becomes free liquidity for them to trigger price action by pushing the price in that direction. In this case, we had this large spike from $50,000 all the way up to $64,000. And look, we can see the volume here as well. But look at this move right here. The whipsaw that we had was in this candle right here. And look at this drop on open interest. This essentially, these moves, these quick moves, this whipsaw in price action can be scary as hell when you're not prepared. But it becomes ultimately the best opportunity that you can get if you're actively trading, especially on small time frames. But it's only if you have a strategy, and it's only if you're prepared before it happens. Most people in this market, when that happened, there are some people that sold because, oh, this is it, we're dropping. Other people see a technical level based on a previous range high on that smaller time frame and have a limit buy order or sell order already in with stop losses. And then they come back to their computer from being away at lunch for an hour or getting in their car and driving somewhere and see, oh, my limit order just got filled and I'm already up X amount. That's because they are prepared. Their strategy was already in play in the action in the charts, and they were able to take advantage of that move. Now, that being said, most people are going to fail when doing that because they don't have risk management. Now, when we're seeing that type of stuff and we look at this chart right here and we can see that the open interest was flushed out on that move, it scares and sort of brings back the market to a little bit of a healthy stance. And this is what we want to see for bullish price action on the macro to continue to the upside. With that being said, are you ready for the price action, whether it goes up or down? And we're going to break that down on this stream right now and see what we're looking at for March. So if you want more, make sure you're subscribing and following our channel because we have a wonderful community here. And I want to make sure that you stay ahead of the trend. Now, with that being said, I think it's time to continue on and dive into this data. We got 260 people in the room. We are doing a giveaway today, and it's going to be based on, one, we're drawing from the tweet from Monday. The tweet from Monday was, not here, let me come right here, boom. The tweet from Monday on the BitLab Academy page was, this is Wednesday, Thursday. We'll scroll back here in a second, but make sure you come here, hit that retweet, hit this like button. You get entered to win. We draw on random days for some giveaways and money and memberships and crypto. So we're going to be doing the giveaway today because I forgot to do it yesterday. Now, we talked about these two things. We're going to be jumping into the charts. We're going to be doing TA on some of your favorite altcoins. I want to see you guys right now in the live chat. What coins are you interested? What coins do you want to see what the charts look like? What coins do you want to see you want broken down? Let me know in the chat. And there's a lot to fly by. So any of the super chats obviously get priority because they get stacked up here. It's very easy to see, but you don't have to super chat. And shout out to all the members that are here as well. Now, remember, a Bitcoin was $8,000 the last February 29th. Now, if you are aware of leap years, you'll know that last year did not have a February 29th. It was, I think, 4 years ago. Is that right? Leap years every 4 years? But this is, hey, things are looking good. Now, this is big. Record flow day despite 216 million outflow of GBTC. Now, if we come over to his page, it's already updated on here from earlier this morning. Where's it at? Right here. Wild stats from IBIT. This is the BlackRock ETF. Only 0.2, less than 1% of BlackRock's ETF lineup accounts for over 40%, 42% of its net flows this year. The interest right now is in Bitcoin. Institutions, people, retail, sovereign wealth funds, corporations, this big money players right now. We haven't even seen the retail side of the ETF impact. We also saw Fidelity. Fidelity just suggested 1 to 3% allocations to their clients and also in the products that they're offering on their other broader ETFs. The money has not even really started to flow yet. So what we saw in early Bitcoin and crypto was the people on the fringes that were very early adopters because this is before it was touted as even a safe asset or even something that was acceptable or could have a future. But those people that were digging into the data, digging into the understanding of decentralization, got in and they've made absolutely astronomically huge gains. And what we're seeing now this is the cycle that has institutions involved. And what we're seeing right now at this first 90 days of this ETF flow coming in, these are the early adopters of these institutions, big money and corporations. And so we are going to see this sort of continue to grow over time as more and more people see that this is the asset of the future. This is the asset that can help them hedge against the world absolutely going to shit. This is the asset that you want to hold. We're seeing flows on Bitcoin outpace the flows on gold. And I think we're going to see this continue. My question for you is, are you already involved? Have you orange pilled anybody else? And are you still willing to stack more? That's what I'm asking myself every day. What can I do to get more cash flow so I can get more exposure to this market and look down the line with a long-term time horizon like these big money players so I can set up my future? That's what I'm all about right now, is making sure that we can be stacked into the future. Okay, we see some super chats coming in. New School said Doge. We're going to do some Doge. Micah Hall said ENS. Let me write these in a list. I already have Doge written down. Doge and ENS. We haven't looked at ENS, I don't think, in quite a while. Big love to everybody in here. We also need to look at some Filecoin. I'll type that one down in there. All right, now let's get back over here. We got 269 people in the room. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. Join us here in this family. We got a wonderful community here at BitLab, talking tools, resources, charts, and strategy. But let's go ahead and bring back, get on to the next stuff. So right away, this is this morning. iBit is trading at more shares than everybody else. As this happens, as these flows continue, as Bitcoin price keeps making headlines, it becomes an incredible promotional tool, not only for Bitcoin and crypto itself, but for the institutions like BlackRock and ARK Invest and Bitwise and Fidelity to market this product to their client base. And the RIAs, registered income advisors, they haven't even begun pushing this product to their clients yet. This is one of the reasons why we know a lot of these early adopters in this traditional asset version of Bitcoin is bigger money ahead of the curve and institutions, likely some sovereign wealth funds too. But we're seeing this increase over time, and the buying pressure is just astronomical. The OTC desks, where all these ETFs are buying their Bitcoin from, or at least the large majority of it, and big money players like Michael Saylor or other corporate, they're buying, when they're buying out of the market, they're buying from OTC desks. They're not buying on Coinbase like you and I, or from Binance. They're buying essentially in bulk at an agreed upon price level so that it doesn't create slippage in the market. But every time these news stories happen and we're tracking this sort of data, and it signals to other retail and smart money investors that are trading on market, it signals to them, hey, we need to get this buying pressure in because something's about to happen. Now, yesterday, over 11,000 Bitcoins purchased, only 900 are mined. Remember, halving's coming up. This daily issuance of new Bitcoin is getting cut in half. And we're seeing a trend upward of this buying pressure just from the ETF side. And when people buy the ETFs have to buy in kind Bitcoin at the close of each day. So that doesn't even account for people in the actual market in their buying and trading. So guys and gals and everybody, I mean, I'm so excited about this. Now, we want to keep an eye on the US dollar. US dollar is kind of trading in this choppy zone, and it's looking like, especially with what's going on in the world, there's a likelihood that the dollar, the DXY, could lose this level. We want to talk about Bitcoin. We want to talk about our altcoins. Well, understand that this dollar index, this DXY, if this is heading to the upside, this is when these risk assets as in crypto and markets a lot of times in general have a hard time when this is rising, because the money starts flowing to where it's safer. This is what happens when the dollar's going up. When the dollar's coming down, this is when you see those strong uptrends on the market. Now, we have other things at play right now fundamentally that are driving a lot of positivity in terms of bullish price action within the market. So things can be a little contrary sometimes, but largely, if this dollar starts breaking down and we have this lower high right here, but we also have a higher low right here, there's a decision point coming to right now with the dollar, which direction it wants to go. If this does break down, it's only going to add fuel to the Bitcoin fire. So I'm keeping my eye on this. Now, we talked about this. Jeff Bezos, maybe he just sold $8.5 billion worth of Amazon stock, and then he's spotted with Michael Saylor on a boat somewhere or out at lunch or something. Is he going to be getting some allocation to Bitcoin? We'll have to see about that, but that would absolutely be a huge story. We talked about Coinbase. I want to jump into the charts. Everybody's stacking right now. This is the last time everybody was stacking when it's all blue, and this is when price action was just pushing to the upside. Right here, the whales, these are these top 1, 2, 3, these top 3 tranches here are the larger wallets, 100 to 1,000, all the way up to over 10,000. Everybody's been stacking through here. Retail got a little worried here. This is basically under 100 down to less than 1 Bitcoin. Retail was getting a little choppy here while the whales were buying, but it flips here. Price action over $60,000 and everybody's still accumulating. I mean, golly, I don't even know what to say to you. Excuse me. Make sure you come over here to @Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet, hit that like. We do random drawings throughout the week of people on here that have come and loved on the channel, and hit that retweet and like and share it with your friends and family. We draw it. We randomly pick names from this. But I think it's time to jump in here and talk about some of what is going on in this market. Now, shout out to everybody that's in the room. Big love to everybody that's tuning in. Let's get a little bit of a macro view, and then we're going to dive in on a little bit of these smaller time frames, because we have to remind ourselves just where we're at and where we've come from. I mean, even this area felt very scary. It felt very boring. There's a lot of disbelief in here, a lot of bears along the way. And I don't want to, everybody has their own analysis, so I'm not going to fault anybody for their analysis. But there's very sure people, whether it's Capo Crypto or Crypto Savvy, or even Gareth Soloway sometimes, people talking about lower prices, and everybody has a right to whatever analysis they're doing. And your analysis is going to be wrong sometime, and my analysis is going to be wrong sometime. That's why it's so important to not only do our analysis, but expose ourselves to different ways of thinking about what could happen. This market has just pushed higher and persisted since this initial candle to the upside at the beginning of January 2023, which was last year. Just pushing up, scaring people coming down, pushing up, ETF launch, sell-off. Sell-off from the ETF major sell the news event was only a 20% drop. That represented the same thing that we saw there, 20%. Let's see, 20% in there. We also see here 20% from this top to this bottom there. We've only seen 20% moves to the downside. The question is going to be, and on the Discover Crypto show we were interviewing, talking with British Hodl, are we going to get those major pullbacks that we've seen in the past? Are we going to get this, massive, look at this. This was a 55, that's over 50% drop. That's before the Black Swan event. The COVID crisis would have made that fully down at more than a 70% drop. Of course, we're not going to account for a Black Swan because you can't predict a Black Swan. Even without that Black Swan, that was a 50% drop before that happened. Similarly, this is, I think our cycle is more like this previous cycle that we had, 2016, 2015, into 2015 into 2016. But this top right here into the halving, let me make this a bit larger. This represented a pretty large drop as well. All the way down there, it's 37, 30, right about 40% drop. This pumped all the way into the halving. So the question is going to be right now, as we enter the most exciting part in history of Bitcoin. Why? Because every eyeball and lens is focused on Bitcoin right now. All the naysayers, all the people fighting it. Even Jim Cramer having a boo-hoo moment. I don't understand this shit. It's because Bitcoin is different than every other asset that's ever existed. They can't understand why it's still pushing higher, because they don't understand, looking at this, it's so different than all these other assets. When we come over here to the halving cycle and understand that the halving is not something that happens on any other asset, to understand that this has a limited supply, understand that institutions have only dipped the very edge of their toenail in right now, and there's $45 trillion on the sideline with all these registered investment advisors, these RIAs, that are going to be responsible for pushing these ETFs to their clients. And some of those people will get Bitcoin through ETFs. Some will just buy it on their own. But this is on everybody's horizon right now. And we're coming in to this moment right here, which is the halving, which creates already a supply shock because it cuts the new issuance of Bitcoin in half every 210,000 blocks, which is going to be in about April 20th or so. But this is what has happened each time. Is it speculation? Is it supply shock? It doesn't matter really, because we're seeing it's probably a combination of both. And we just got massive highways of capital into Bitcoin, as well as their stamp of approval. So where we're at right now, we're coming in to the same sort of zone. This is how they look overlaid. We are a little bit high. So is there cause for concern? We're wrapping out the month right now. And we are primed, if you look on just a technical level, for an opportunity for a pullback. Now, when we look at this, let's go out to the 6 hour. When we look at this, I have two levels really outlined here. This 48,000 would still be above where the short-term holder cost basis is. This is basically testing this previous range high right here in this zone. If we were to pull back, and if we have just a small dip that comes down, the golden pocket would be right here at 55,000. Let's put a little box right there. And I'm not saying it's going to do this, but if I'm feeling so bullish, which I am, first thing I do before I map out all my moon zones is I say, okay, I'm so bullish, let's play the bear card first and just map it and then look at our bull scenarios. That way we don't get caught trapped in our bias. Most people lose money in this market because they're trapped in their bias and they're chasing a feeling. They're not analyzing the data, being prepared in two different directions and being able to make the move when it happens because they plan for it versus acting on their impulse from the emotion that was triggered in that move. So here's the targets that we're looking at. I'll do one more right here. We're going to put this at the 382 because things are bullish. We cannot ignore how bullish these markets have been in here as this is curving to the upside, going parabolic in this zone, having volume now coming up as well. So let's get down to the 4 hour. Let's see. So this is starting to look like a little bit like it wants to test a little bit of little downside pressure. Now, as this has moved up, we can see from that period, the stochastics are getting lower highs along the way, just generally trending to the downside. The RSI is basically about equal, but as it stands right here, I'm just going to see where this is. Now we're going to double click here. So yeah, the stochastics are getting weaker along the way, but we still have positive money flow. We're looking at the 1 hour chart. Still have positive money flow. We had this huge liquidity flush here, but it's beautiful. It really is beautiful that this market had this washout both up and down. The bulls came in and defended this. This is actually quite bullish. But the fact that this has moved up so quickly creates a huge amount of inefficiency in the price action as this moves up. It wouldn't be crazy. In fact, it would be bullish if this does have some potential move to the downside. The question is, who's willing to sell and at what level are buyers going to be coming in? So on this, let's get out to 4 hour. We do have, positive money flow. Momentum's kind of weakening. I could see a little bit of a consolidation in this zone with some choppiness. I feel like, to me, I'm feeling like that's the most likely, or a bit of a trickle down into a zone and then the next move. But things are so bullish right now, it's hard to even look at the bearish scenarios. So let's just remember a rise, retrace, continuation is actually the most bullish scenario. So looking at a potential retrace down to potentially this level and seeing where the volume and the bulls come back in, this is not being bearish. This is saying, okay, we want, if this to continue higher without it having just the prices fall off a cliff at some point, we want to see some of the work being done to build that staircase. Now, when we come over here, we look at Ethereum. Ethereum is kind of working its way up. Boom, 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 boom. And remember, we may have a narrative shift here with capital into Ethereum in the near future because of this Ethereum ETF. That also might be what is helping also support this upward price action. Now, I will say right here, we do have a little bit of bearish divergence, a little bit of, let's go right here, option V. I'm just putting lines on here so I can see on the data here on the bottom what's going on. All right, so we know we had higher prices over this period of time. Stochastics came much lower. The RSI has been flat. So there's a light bearish divergence, a little bit to the downside. And there's a little bit of a bearish divergence here on these 2 points on the momentum. So we're seeing some weakness starting to come in a little bit at this this high, this current range high that we have. Now, if we zoom out on this chart, scroll out a little bit, notice we're coming up and testing into a zone. I'm going to delete this. We're coming up and testing into a zone that has historically had a lot of price interactivity, right in this sort of zone right here. Boom. Sorry. Boom. This represents the rejection here, price interactivity right in the zone, a bounce above this. But this is a main portion right here that we're looking at. And we see that the price action currently has entered this zone where some people, technical traders, price action has memory in the chart because there's a liquidity interest here, which means once you come back up into that zone, there's some people that got in here that will want to be, they don't see the forward. They don't look forward in the markets. They say, oh man, this has been scary. I rode this all the way down. I can get out now. Other people have bought down here. Man, that's a lot of profits. I can get out now because I'm also recognizing this level. Let's see if there's any Fibonacci's on this zone from the top, option F. I'm just going to move this down so I can see to the bottom. And wouldn't you know it, I did not plan that. I'm doing this live with you guys. The golden pocket is literally exactly right at that level as well. So you can draw conclusions of or an analytical data points by what's happening with key zones and price action and seeing how that correlates with the key fib levels like a golden pocket or a 382 or a 786. And you see that these two overline. It tells us that this is a very interesting, more interesting level than just if these lines were just randomly somewhere on the chart. The fact that the previous price action as well as the golden pocket line up tells us we need to pay attention to the zone. Now we're on the 3-day chart. Let's get down into the 4-hour. Let's see what's going on in our 4-hour zone. I just want to see something here. I like to do some projections into this. And would you look at that? So on this projection, we broke right through this fib extension up here past the 1.618. Look at this. This rejected at the 1.618 and then bounced off of it. And it's coming right up to this 2.618. So this is telling us that on this fib extension from this zone, the macro fib at the golden pocket right in here, as well as the previous price action, that this area that we're in right now is a very important zone. So we got some bearishness coming in, as you can see right over here on the bottom right, the BitLab Trend Fuel signal dashboard, bearish, 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 neutral, and a couple, but we have obviously a bullish money flow signal. But let's get down on the 1 hour and see what the data is saying. Now, this is where we entered down here, and this is pushing up, found resistance on this channel resistance, came down, found support, pushed up. And as it stands right now, we did have some of those bearish divergences. So this is looking a little bit like it does want to test a little bit lower. But I'm feeling like my bias actually right now is choppiness. I feel like that's what's going to do the most pain to the market, because there's the super bulls that want this just to go up. And then there's the bears that have shorted and they want this to go down, and they're going to take advantage of some of this. Now, if this does drop, we can do a fib from, let's do it from this point right here. We're going to do 2 fibs, top to bottom. So yeah, this 382 was a peak here and there's a bounce here. So this tells me this is a good level to watch. So we can do potential levels to the downside right there, copy, paste. Now move this down into this golden pocket. Now I'm going to draw a fib from here. Just want to see if there's any overlap. Yeah. So that larger fib that we just did, these are the kind of levels that I'm looking at if we do get a drawdown, and we already have one down here. So 32, basically 3,300, and then potentially down here into this 3,100 to 3,077 sort of zone. But I'm leaning more bullish. I'm thinking if we do get a move to the downside, it will likely be something. It'll likely be something that, come on, there you go. Likely be something where it tests down, comes up, and tests in the zone, a potential wick to the downside, and then a continuation to the upside. They're going to do everything they can right now to chop you out. Do not get chopped out. I'm looking for buy opportunities on areas when the price action does move to the downside. Things are looking very exciting on the market right now. The fact that we had that washout from 64 down to 57 and the bulls came in is very telling. Now let's go through some of these other coins that you guys wanted to. I got a list here. We're going to go through Aptos, PEPE, AERO, XLM, PAAL, PIF, DOGE, ENS, Altcoin, and maybe one more. You guys let me know. Everybody spam their altcoins right now. Spam them in the chat. The one that I see the most of, we will do. Now let's do. We're gonna have to go through these quickly. So let's do that. So let's do. Come over here. Let's do Aptos. Aptos. I actually just did the. I'm over here. Aptos. I did some lines. On one of the charts, I did a bunch of lines. So this is coming right into that zone. Now, why do I draw the box there? Because looking at this on the 12-hour chart, we had a bounce in here on the bottom. We had a rejection at the top. We had a rejection at the top. We had a rejection at the bottom and the top here. So we're coming over and look at where the price action is coming into, right into this zone. So we also have this massive, somewhat, I mean, quite a bullish reversal pattern here. It's almost inverse head and shoulders, not quite, but we are getting this momentum swinging back to the bullish nature here. So we go Fibonacci from the top all the way to the bottom here, and we can see, okay, there's no correlation with this box and this box, but this price action is obviously something that we are looking at here. If we move up, this is the next zone I'm looking at, 1466. It's a golden pocket directly above us. So let's draw a box there. We're going to target it so we can hold ourselves accountable. And then look at this, 786 is perfectly in line with this previous range high. These are the next two sort of targets to the upside if we're able to break through there. As it stands right now, it looks like this 382 is also perfect because this is where the previous range highs were. So this is where I'm looking at if we do get a drawdown on Aptos, potentially getting a buy in this zone. This also looks like it is roughly about where the golden pocket is on this move. Option F from the bottom to the top. Actually, we would go right here. This is the move. That's the move from boom, boom. We can see that this is sitting right on top of where this previous range high was and the larger time frame 382. So right in here, this is ultimately where I'm looking at, basically somewhere between 11 and 11, somewhere right around $11 would be a great opportunity if this draws down into this. But the fact that this washed out to the downside, we see this big wick here, but then after this recovered, this move to the downside currently is trying to be held on this 382. So if we're able to form a bull flag here, then we can set up the target for that. So sometimes what you want to do is look at the charts and not have the exact idea of what's going to happen, but be aware that some pattern or formation may be setting up for the move to come. As this stands right now, this is looking like it's trying to, this is a 12-hour. Let's get down to the 4-hour. Okay. Yeah, this is trying to hold in here. Maybe we form a bit of this pattern before this next move to the upside. We've had volume fall off a cliff here, so we need to have some volume interest come back in here to determine what may be happening next. But Aptos, big mover recently. They just had some great developments on their chain. PEPE, everybody's talking about PEPE right now, and I'm not a PEPE fan, but hey, it captured the mind of the people, so let's go ahead and do PEPE for you guys. Massive head and shoulders here. Inverted head and shoulders. See this? So on this, if we do a line here, option J, this is let's actually do this. Option T from the top, measure this across. This is your neckline. Then we do a measurement here, and we see, look at this beautiful W pattern here. This is trying to tell you. This is trying to tell you it's trying to go, and it's almost hit its target to the upside. But if the mania comes back into these altcoins, these meme coins, I should say, then this could be an opportunity to keep ripping. As it stands right now, we're on the 3-day chart. As it stands right now, this does not look like a setup for another buy on the 3-day chart. Here, we see a giant potential bull flag forming. This is on the 2-hour chart. Got a little bit of a setup right there with some work along the way. This could be a recipe for the next move to the upside, which would be essentially 746 right up in here in the zone. But again, this is going to be very speculative about where this capital is flowing. on these meme coins. So be very careful and do not take a target as the ultimate take profit. Try to scale out on your take profits if you're scalping an asset like this. If this does move to the downside, ultimately this moved up very quick. If this does move down, I think it's very likely this could move down into this neckline zone right here. But we can also draw a fib just like this. Golden pocket would be this 2-4 in this zone right in here. But I do think if this comes down, it will likely come back to test this neckline. What's the next one on the list? AERO. DZ put this on all our radars the other day. I'm happy I got a little position on this. This is where I bought it. Washed out to the downside. Didn't capitulate. Push up. And this was that choppiness that we, was this? Let's see, daily. This was it right here. Yeah, choppiness. But this partnership, real world asset tokenization. No, this is, I'm thinking of Ondo. This is a DEX built on top of Base on Coinbase, and Coinbase just bought a huge market share of what's going on with this on the market. Let me come over here to AERO. This is why I thought, okay, I can look into this. And it's because when I came over here and scrolled down on this, we can see not the rewards. That's right. Where you be? It is. There is a graph that I thought was quite. Here we go. Aerodrome is a meta DEX combining the best primitives in DeFi into streamlined design as a central liquidity hub of Base. We host 2 times the TVL of every other DEX combined. That's huge, especially with we're seeing a resurgence on the DEXs with Uniswap and Jupiter and Sushi Swap. We're seeing a lot of stuff there with some of the developments they're doing and profit sharing and revenue sharing and all that kind of stuff. But we're also seeing now that Coinbase has an asset that they're also going to be getting behind and already market share bought on this. So I got a small allocation of this. And I told you all about this here on the stream and in the Discord the day we were doing it. So anybody that was in there chasing along, you know what's going on there. And it's also, this is the other thing. Let's come over here. Let's look at this. This is one of the things that was interesting to me about that. Aerodrome Finance. Look at how, it's at 50 now. 2 days ago, it was at $35 million market cap. That is incredibly small. I don't know why. Is my screen glitching on you guys? I hope it's not. But very small market cap for where this potentially could go, right? And this is why I have an allocation, but it's not thousands of dollars. It's a very small percentage of that portfolio that we share with you guys. This is not total. There we go. See, oh, can't even see it. It's the smallest. Oh, now Ondo's smallest. So this overtook this because of that gain that it had in the last day. Small allocation. Now coming over here, I mean, this doesn't have. Let's see. This doesn't have a. I mean, look at that. Doesn't have a lot of TA on this. So this is just one I'm holding right now because of that information that was just shared about it. But this is looking. This does look like it could correct a little bit because this is looking a little bit either like a channel with a deviation here. And we're getting a little bit of bearish divergence. So this could give you another opportunity down here in this region, right in here. These previous range tops, as well as this range top and a bounce above this zone. I think we could look for an opportunity in this region if this comes back down in the 22 to 24, 25 cent range. If this does break out, I'd be waiting for a retest because we do see a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders right here, lending to the fact that maybe we have a little bit more bullishness than it looks like at first glance on this chart. Now, let's go to what else we got. XLM. We have not done XLM in a minute. You guys are asking for things. I'm trying to give you what you're asking for. Let me see. I'm going to go to viewer activity. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's super chats or posts in there. And I cannot believe it, guys. My big 40th birthday is coming up in the coming week. Cannot believe I'm going to be 40 years old. I didn't think I was going to live past 27, but here we are. So let's talk about XLM. Thank you guys for being part of my life. I appreciate you all. I really love each and every one of you that tune in here. And I feel like we built a wonderful community. So thank you for being involved. And with that being said, if you have not hit that like button and joined us in this family, I'd love to see you in here. Let's see that subscriber count go up on this video. I appreciate you. I hope I'm a positive spark in your day. I don't want to just talk crypto. I want to encourage you and empower you and make you remember that your operating system right here is what's going to determine what you do. If you choose happiness in every moment, if you choose to respond instead of react, if you choose to take at least one action every day towards your goals, could be in your health, could be in your relationships, could be in your business. Maybe you're bold enough to do one action each day in all three of those areas. You'll have those small 0.5%, 1% gains on a daily basis. And before you know it, your life is going to be in a much better position. Your heart's going to be in a much better position. Your mind is going to be in a much better position. But I think it's time, now that we did some positivity, let's jump back into these charts. XLM, let's get out on the 3-day. We haven't looked at this in a while. Okay, we have a bit of a base here coming in right there. And now in addition to that, we've got some interesting price action here. Looking a little suppressed, if you ask me. Option J coming out here. Yeah, so we have a broader, this kind of bit of a broader zone there. If this does break down, I think that we'll find we'll find a base in this region right here, which is basically down at the 9-cent sort of zone. But things are leaning bullish right now. What are we doing? We look at the bearish opportunity. If we have a bullish feel, let's look at the bearish opportunity, give ourselves the floor. But this is looking like this is it wants to break out. This is on the 3-day. But if this does come down, our first target is going to be at this line directly below us, down in this region here as the low of this range. But I would argue, I don't know why it does that sometimes. I would argue that if we are very bullish, if we do get a pullback with these range tops right in here, range top right in here, range top right in here, and a bounce right above this, if we do get rejected, I would be looking for a bounce at this level to maintain that bullish sort of vibe that we got going on in this asset. If we're able to push a little bit beyond this and find support in this region, then I think it's going to be, I don't want to say all systems go, but we have this this sort of zone right here, rejection, 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 rejection. I'd be watching on a move up into the zone for an opportunity for a potential rejection, confirmation, and then continuation. What does this mean? Why do we want rejection? Because if we get that, we see where the bulls come in, we take advantage of that, and then we can ride that move to the upside. Now, what's next on the list? 109 likes. Everybody hit that like button. We had over 300 people in here a few minutes ago. All I ask, I give you anything, even if it's entertainment, even if you hate me, show some love to a channel that's just trying to give you the goods, baby. We do have a bit of a broadening wedge in here, though, on XLM. I just noticed this. Broadening wedge right there into right here. So, yeah, this is perfectly in line. So if the price action does come down, and we come into the zone, we have not only this horizontal support, but we also have this rising level of support from this wedge. Now, these do tend to break bearish. However, the skew in the market right now, unless something changes, is quite bullish. So I'd be expecting a bounce in this area. And then we can, if this does break down. The next thing on the list, PAAL, PAAL. It's one of those AI plays that is much further down the coin market cap ranking. PAAL is, what is PAAL out? PAAL is like 200 and something. PAAL is 225. It only has a it's still quite big, $357 million market cap. But look at this absolute moonshot up with that AI narrative. So let's be aware of that. Zachary Martin said, nothing but love, BitLab. Kelly, now check the PHA for me. And shout out, I saw you on the Discover Crypto commenting earlier. Yeah, I hop in there and co-host anytime they need somebody. If DZ's there or not there or Josh is away, we got a full family of people in here that talk about the market. So we all kind of rotate in. So I've had fun this week co-hosting over there. Now, PAAL, we do have this, it feels like a bit of a bull flag here, bull pennant. I would be a little on the hesitant side because of this massive rip up that we've seen from back here at under 1 cent up to 45 cents that we've seen over since October. That's pretty massive. And this could continue higher. But the question is, did this rip up from the narrative that was writing the narrative of what's going on with Sora and OpenAI and also the NVIDIA news and all that kind of stuff? What I'd be waiting for on this is actually a confirmation, because this does kind of sweep up like this. And we're getting a little bit of an attempt at a confirmation now, meaning coming down and testing in this region. This has kind of tested this zone. If we start pushing up from here and breaking this sort of upward, this resistance on this smaller move, then I think this might be off to the races for another larger move. But I'd be watching for this potentially to come back down into here. And if we lose this zone down here at 39 cents, I think we're testing in, testing into this region. Oops. This region right in here. If we lose 39, I think we're coming down into 30, potentially below that if we continue on. Let's see, next one up. I have on here SEI. Actually, I have it over here on the right. SEI, shout out to Esteban Aguirre. I don't know if I said that correctly. Give me a thumbs up if I did. By the way, we always get new people in here on a regular basis. I want to do a roll call right now. If you are, wherever you're tuned in from, let's see it. What city, what state? And are you in your house? Are you at your desk? Are you in your car? Are you in the bathroom? What are you doing right now while you're tuning into the crypto content? Where are you tuning in from? Let's see where our family is across the world. Now we're doing SEI. We got to look at render too. SEI. Boom. Jasmine. There we go. So SEI. This is where we got in on SEI. Boom. On this pullback. Rise, retrace, continuation. Retrace. This is a little concerning that we've had these large moves. Large move. Another large move. Roughly about the same size here. And now look at this next attempt. God dang it. Much smaller. So there may be something forming on some bearishness when you see something like this. If this does start to roll over and test this, we may have another opportunity. I'm just pointing out the facts to you here. We may have another opportunity for this to come back and test into this region. Now, remember, I'm giving you the bearishness before I give you the bullishness, baby. So with that being said, error. I hope my streams go. I just see an error on the screen. I hope the screen is going smooth on there because it's got an error on my YouTube thing. This would be awesome if we could get down into the 35-cent range. I'm just showing you based on the fact that we're seeing like a little bit of a loss of momentum here. And look at this massive bearish divergence on the momentum waves here. So, and we have negative money flow. This is on the daily. Let's get down to the 4-hour or 2-hour. Okay. So we have a bit of a rising support level right in here. And it's looking a little bit like a head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. It's a little ugly, but we also have this zone right here, this previous range lows, and we're trapped, kind of trapped in this box. Let me do a box there actually. Box in the zone. What's in the box? So on this level, we have two stories. We have a bearishness with this potential head and shoulders here, but the fact that we have this sort of flat level of this flat horizontal support here and resistance here also shows an ascending triangle. This is what I want as a bull, for this to bounce here, come up and break this, come down, bounce and continue. What am I talking about? I'm talking about potentially doing something like this. But that's my bullish sort of bias, because I also hold it. But at the flip side of that, this very well could lose this level and come down. What would the next level be? It looks like the next level would be right in this zone right here, because see this box with this top and all this choppiness here. If we zoom this out here, rejection, rejection, support. So now we know we have a box. And if we do lose this area, I think this is more likely than that 35-cent that we outlined before. This would be a great opportunity down here in the 75-cent zone, because you'd also be testing the low of this range. So that's what I'm seeing there. Now Doge, we got to look at Doge. That's right. You guys want a Doge? I give you Doge. Doge just basically doing moon rocks over here, breaking out of this, huge downtrend, chop sideways with these just intermediate pumps. We want to make sure we're not getting something like this that just bleeds back down, because we do have a lower high here still. And this coin is also where we have this bounce here, Yeah, bounce here, a bounce here at the top, rejection here, rejection below the zone. But on this move, the move on this would be, the target would be up here in these two zones. Now we got a couple things we can look at here. If we do option F, option F from the top. I did it from, where did I do it from? Oh, that's where I did it from, yeah, from the candle bodies. So we have a zone here where there's a golden pocket on this macro sort of move here. Now, on the same time, we have a pretty big cup and handle in this zone here. It's very choppy. It's hard to read it, but it is there. And this move correlates with the golden pocket as well as a target outside of this. Now, if we do a move from here, top to bottom, we can see the 2.618 is right up in this region too. We've already cut by the 1.618 on this fib extension from this move. So I think if the narrative is going to be capital flow into meme coins, or if we get any positive news on integrations with Dogecoin into like the X payments or any other, famous brand is integrating Doge payments as well. The interest is now back on this space. So some of the retail players out there that aren't in crypto, but they're like, I'm going to get Doge and I'm going to get SHIB. That's where you start getting these real big retail pumps if that interest comes back. And look at this massive volume spike here. Flipped back bullish on the money flow here. If we get down on the 4-hour candle, money flow is expanding to the upside. Everything's angled up on the stochastics, but the RSI, the strength is already coming back down. What am I talking about? Purple, angled down. So I think it's anybody's guess on Doge right now. Those are my targets to the upside, though, which would be 16.75 and 22 cents. Next two targets to the upside. If this does come back down, we're looking for a bounce at the 10-cent sort of level. And I think I got time for one more. Somebody asked for ENS. I just want to make sure I got what everybody super chatted. ENS and Doge. All right, yeah. So I'm doing the super chats last. My apologies there, but let's get it done. ENS, USDT. Let's look at it. Ooh, we got a bit. Let's get on a little bit larger time frame. Everybody, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. And we're about to do a giveaway here in one moment. So let's see who's going to get that giveaway. By the way, whoever got the giveaway last 2 days ago has not, I don't think, has responded to me on Twitter. So if I don't get a response to that, I'm going to have to give that one double giveaway there. If you don't claim it, it's going to go bye-bye. Well, it's good to be tuned into these shows. So that would be the upside target. Now we can double that up, move this for a downside target. The broad zone here, this is shaping up to want to make a large move. 12-hour. We're chopping right in this zone. It's like the gates. It's like the gates to the bullishness. Why? Look at all this choppiness right in here. Rejection, rejection. Broke out a little bit above it. Rejection at the bottom, rejection at the top side, rejection at the bottom side. Price action whipping up and down around this zone. But look, it is kind of finding support on this. Maybe a small, oh, we had the wick down, but yeah, we're finding support on this. If we do break to the upside, first things first is we want to break through this zone right here. From those tops and this top rejection, if we do push up, watch for a fake out because we still have negative money flow. If we do push up into the zone, we need to break past 25, past $26 before we can really consider the bullishness really coming in. Don't get trapped in a little bit of a wick like this, only to have it reverse. But things are looking like it's trying to make a move to make that move to the upside. We're seeing bullishness in here just with a hesitation on this asset. So on the 2-hour, let's see what's going on. 2-hour. 2-hour make you hour. There we go. See, I have momentum wave flipping. I'd be waiting for the break of either side of this. If this does break to the downside, the target below is 13. Pretty big move to the downside. But I think it would front run that up here at the $14, $15 range because of this previous high and this previous low. I'd be looking for opportunity in here, potentially not coming down to the target if it breaks bearish. If it breaks bullish, then we're looking for a move up in here. Looking for a move up in here. Potential rejection, come up, boom. That's what we would like to see, something like that. But that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. I think it's time to do the giveaway right now on the BitLab Academy. If you haven't yet, come in here, retweet this page. But what the giveaway is going to be is on the one that we where's it at? The Bull Signals one is, the drawing is tomorrow for that one, but I said I was going to do a giveaway on this one right here, I believe. Yeah. Is it this one? I don't know. You guys tell me. We'll just go ahead, copy that link, log in to BitLab Academy, come over here to Twitter Picker. So many steps on all these things. Let's go ahead and get it. We got the Twitter Picker. Okay, cool. Am I logged into Twitter? Yes. Now come over here. Who's going to win it? Twitter. You have to like and retweet. Get the, oh, I didn't log in with the, I gotta log in with Twitter. That Mondays? You guys tell me, was that Mondays? That one that we just looked at? I believe it was. Bull Signals. I believe it was this one, actually. 26. Yeah, it was this one. This is the one. So thank you for calling that out, guys. Let's go ahead and get that giveaway going. Everybody, if you would, I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you haven't checked out bitlabacademy.com, check it out. Get involved. Super secret. Remember, lab.bitlabacademy.com/Josh gives you that super secret sign-up deal. But you can enroll right here. You get access to all the stuff that we do in our Discord. There's been some great calls in here from John Dalton with AGIX. Look at that call. And it just went so perfectly. AVAX, I mean, they're just making calls in here left and right. I'm sharing stuff on a daily basis here in the Kelly Alpha channel, really breaking things down for everybody. So I hope to see you in that community. We're copying this link. We're doing the giveaway right now. And then I got to roll because I am so far behind in everything I got to do, but we're going to get it done because I love you guys. So let's go ahead right here, paste, boom, and we're logged in, get the data. Who's getting it? It's going to be another $50 USDT I'm going to send to you. Make sure you are paying attention. We got 18 users. I will send you a message on Twitter, and I hope to also connect with you in the Discord so that we can get this all done correctly. Who got it? Who got it? Perigny Christie 1. Perigny Christie 1. I'm going to go ahead like this. I'm going to follow. Hey, hey. And I'll send you a message on my personal YouTube as well. Sorry, Twitter as well. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe, and join us in here. I'm got to run off here because I got other things I got to do for our Discord and for our members and for everything. I love you all so dearly. I appreciate you. We're wrapping out the end of the month. I think March is going to have some still positive price action. I think we're going to have a new flood of money come in. I think it's likely that we break the all-time high. I think there's going to be a recipe for a disaster for some in these whipsaw price actions that are going to be happening. Do not get chopped out. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Congrats to Christy for winning that money.